Hey everybody, and welcome to 3-Minute Racket Reviews. Today's racket is the Technifibre TFight 300S. Starting out with the groundies on this one, I'd give it about an 8 out of 10. I think, in my opinion, it's a great performing option, but not a great feeling option. And those are things a lot of people have to weigh in deciding what type of tennis racket they want to use. This one does provide a lot of free power, spin, and directional control. I did find the depth control to be a little inconsistent. Would definitely get a flyer here or there, but in general, a really good modern racket. Alright, so next, going to the net play, I'd give this a 6 out of 10. I don't mean to be harsh, but just doesn't feel like this one gets into position quickly, especially in its stock form. It's only 4 points head light, and in general, I think the 22.5 beam width is just clunky enough to make it difficult to maneuver for a low touch volley. Next, moving on to the serving, I think I'd give this an 8.5 out of 10. It is a strong performer on the serve. I really like the upper hoop response. I think there's a ton of spin, a ton of power, and enough directional control to feel like you can pick pretty small targets. Next, onto the power, I'd give this an 8.5 out of 10 as well. Just a ton of pop, from the ground with the serve. Kind of remarked on both these components already in this review. So yeah, just a really good, modern, powerful racket. Alright, so in regards to control, I think I'm going to give it a slightly below average rating, something like a 6.9. For me, the directional control was pretty good, but the depth control was just lacking. Next, onto the spin, I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. It's got above average spin potential, nothing sort of out of this world. Definitely can't keep tabs with any of those Babolat 98 frames with the 16x20 patterns, and definitely not with any of the Babolat frames that are in the 100-inch category. Moving on to stability, I'd give this an 8.5 out of 10. It's a pretty stiff frame, so you'd expect this from, this type of spec, 66 average RA. Not necessarily the most flexible racket on contact, so it does allow for good stability when you're trying to redirect a shot and use someone else's pace. Next, on to comfort. This is where I'm going to kind of lay into this frame. I give it like a 6 out of 10. Definitely stiff and boardy, and to me feels pretty plasticky, but that is coming from someone that prefers a traditional player's frame. That in mind, I love playing with Babolat frames. I've used the Pure Strike Tour for a long time, which gets a bad reputation of being, not arm friendly, but I think this one definitely feels worse, and in general, my arm didn't feel great after extended hitting. Next, onto the flex profile, I'd give this one like a middle upper yoke flex. Next, on to touch and responsiveness, I'd give this a 6 out of 10. I think the stiffness in the layup and that really direct feeling limits it from being great. Next, onto our will it lead category. This is a league-friendly option for sure. It's kind of like easy button for baseline tennis. Spin-friendly, powerful, decent control. Not something I'd use, but I don't blame you if you do. Lastly, onto cosmetics, I am going to lay into the frame again. This is terrible. It's just white, and there's like 2 colored stripes. I want to quickly shout out my friend Deepak over at Mriva Sports for letting me demo this one. Please take a look at his information in the description if you are looking to purchase one of these rackets or any other tennis gear in general. Thanks everybody for joining us on this racket review. We'll see you in the next one.